Audio check 1 2. Audio check 1 2 3. Hey guys, AJ Town here live with the T Storm Chasers, ready to bring you the latest weather update as we start to watch this major storm system that is out west start to move its way eastward and come into, sorry, my camera gets reversed, so I get reversed. So we're going to start discussing this storm, kind of looking at it hour by hour here and kind of look at when things are going to start really moving into the area. Again, AJ Town live here with the T Storm Chasers, going to bring you that weather update. As we start to take a quick look here at this latest system, this latest model run, we'll start to put things into motion here. Now about 00 Zulu, so that's going to be about 6 o'clock. We finally start to see things move into south or southwestern portions of South Dakota and western portions of Nebraska. As we do put this map back into motion here about 09 Zulu, we really start to see this start to move across the state. Now by 18 Zulu, so about your lunchtime, is what we are seeing as far as when we expect the things start to form and start to move through the area and into the area. Is we right around that lunchtime hour between 12 and 2 o'clock is when we really expect to start seeing things in Sioux Falls area. Now as we move to 00 Zulu, so that's about going to be about your 6 o'clock time frame, about your commute home, we start to see things really start to ramp up. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, that's when we expect to see the heaviest snowfall come into the area and through the area, where we could see anywhere between 2 to 3 inches per hour in some areas accumulate. We could see some of the thunder snow pushing through. We're definitely going to be seeing some moisture coming through this area. As we go through the 12 Zulu, now about that 6 o'clock in the morning is what we are starting to see the heavier snow. We can, oops, it jumped on me here, sorry. As we look here, we can see this heavier snow right through here is what we are looking at for this. Now that's going to bring our heavier system of snow. That's going to be bringing our snow totals a little higher. Then the European model actually has a few heavier bands of snow pushing through right about your lunch hour on Tuesday is what we are seeing. That will continue to wrap around, push its way eastward, and we expect to have it out of the area by midnight on Tuesday into Wednesday. Now as we continue through the rest of the week here, we're not looking at anything for Thursday, Friday, or the remaining part of Wednesday. We start to watch a little bit of a development on Saturday as this model is starting to come together. We are seeing it mostly affect the southeastern portions of South Dakota. So we are watching that fairly close. It tries to scoot its way a little northward as we go into Saturday 00 Zulu or Sunday 00 Zulu. So Saturday evening is what we are looking at. Seeing some small flurries sticking around. I'm not expecting this to be a huge snowstorm system or anything like that. I'm going to say right under an inch for that one. Then as we go through the weekend, rest of the weekend, then we're looking at a nice weekend. As you start your week, we're looking at a nice week. Now we start to watch some development that's going to occur on Tuesday again and see what that brings us. It keeps that a little further south of South Dakota. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, as some of these models have started to form down south and actually pushed a little further north. So that has brought that precipitation a little higher to the north. So those of you that are asking, what is Zulu? Zulu is actually a time that is used by the military. So that is actually a time frame there. It's about, with daylight savings time, it's either 6 or 5 hour difference of what we are talking about. So if we say, Wednesday at 12 Zulu, we minus that 6, and that's going to be about that 6 a.m. on Wednesday. Just to kind of give that Zulu example there for that. Now, one other thing we're going to take a look at here, if I can get my slide to switch. So this is going to be that big snowstorm. We're going to start it here. All right, we do start to see as this cell moves across the Rockies there, that's where that low pressure system sets up, and bringing our moisture is going to be right in front of that. As that continues to progress, we are seeing that progress eastward. That is bringing that heavier band. Now, with the GFS model, this is a different model that we are looking at. One thing we got to note here, too, is look at the severe weather that is down south as we are getting hit with snowstorms. Actually, the severe weather probability, even according to Norman, Oklahoma, out of Oklahoma, or National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma, Storm Prediction Center, does have a severe risk for Tuesday. Or actually, no, this is for Monday. This is going in for Monday. This is day 2, so this is actually Monday that we are looking at seeing that severe risk for down south there. Now, we can see that here on this model where we do start to see things forming. As we continue putting this model into motion here, now that cell that is down south there, that's going to be long-lived. They're going to have a major tornado outbreak. They're going to have major severe weather down south as we're dealing with this. Now, speaking of severe weather and stuff, I would not be surprised to see some thunder snow pushing through with this system, or even with that heavier moisture. You can see here now as we're at that 12 Zulu on Tuesday morning, GFS is actually keeping the heavier bands right through our area as well. Now, as we go into next week here, we are now coming into that Saturday there. The GFS has that system off to the west and kind of developing some as well. We'll zoom in here just a little closer, kind of take a quick closer look here at the central portions of South Dakota here, or central portions of the United States, and kind of put this into motion here. So now as the GFS does go in through Monday there, you can see it's creeping across the state there. As that does come across there, we do expect the heavier bands to stay southward, and then that'll continue to gradually push northward. As you can see right through here, we are looking at some probability of seeing some of the mixed precipitation, some ice accumulation with this system. As we do put it into play there, you can see these heavier bands of snow is also setting up. So we're going to see that continue to progress through the area as well. As we do watch this system here, you can see these heavier bands on the GFS is also going to come into play there. You can see that heavier band that sits just right along the Quad State area there, literally Quad State, because it's going to affect Iowa, Minnesota, and South Dakota there, is what we are seeing with that. Now, that is really heavy band, and that's where we're going to see that heavy snow fall where we're going to see that snow rates of probability anywhere between 2 to 3 inches per hour with that is definitely going to be there as well. As we go again into the weekend, we start to see some, whoops, I do apologize there, it jumped on me. Now, as we go into the weekend there, we do see some of that development down south trying to push its way a little further northward on the GFS as well. So that is a good indication that we are going to get some sort of moisture with that as that progresses through the area. Now, we're going to take a quick look here at the GFS's snow total prediction and kind of see what they're looking at as far as what they're saying with this snow system as it comes through. As we come into our, we'll go, this is expected to move out by 3 Zulu, so we'll put it at there. So we can see right now it has shifted. So this is as of, I'm sorry, let me refresh that. That'll catch up here. So we're looking at the 60-hour out, and you can see that it has the Sioux Falls area at 14.6. A little further west, Mitchell area about 19.2. Yankton about 15.7. So this area here that is in this darker red, purple, whatever you want to call it, is going to see more than a foot of snow with this. Now, this is not snow depth. This is accumulating snow that the GFS model is putting into play. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the, not the GFS model. I stand corrected, and I certainly do apologize. Joys of doing a live show is I clicked on the wrong one. So we'll restart here. Let me restart with the GFS, and I certainly do apologize. Joys of doing a live shot. I can't edit this out, so the GFS, again, does have some of that heavier snow band come through the area about that 12 Zulu. So that's going to be about that 6 o'clock in the morning here. On Tuesday morning, the GFS is really dominating the area with snow. As that does progress, that'll continue to progress its way eastward. By 06 Zulu, so by your midnight on Tuesday into Wednesday, we expect that system to finally move out of the area there and affect areas to the east. Now, as we look at the GFS there, coming into Saturday, the GFS actually keeps that system further to the west than what the European model does. What we were looking earlier at was the European model there. It does have a little bit of a snow shower Saturday into Sunday there. Going into the rest of the week, now the GFS has just a little bit of a clipper system that pushes through. Not much otherwise is what the GFS is saying. We saw the European model, where the European model does take a little bit of an effect there. Give me just a second here to get this pulled back up. Now, as we start here at the 21 Zulu, we're going to put things into motion here. Now, this is 15 Zulu on Monday. So that's going to be about 9 o'clock in the morning. We start to see things finally progressing eastward there, about 18 Zulu, according to the GFS. Now, that 18 Zulu is going to be roughly about your lunch hour. Whoops. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Now, as we go into the 21 Zulu to 00 Zulu, we start to see some of that snow system come in. So that's going to be 19 Zulu, or 21 Zulu there, is going to be 21 minus 6, 15. So about 3 o'clock is what we are seeing there. Between that 3 and 6 o'clock, we start to see some of the snow come through. As we do progress through the day there into the early morning hours is when we really start to expect the system to ramp up and start to really bring us our snow chances. So as we go into the 06 Zulu on Wednesday morning, so that would be about Tuesday evening or Tuesday midnight, we do see final totals are there on the GFS. I think and I feel that the GFS really overdoes it versus what the European model does suggest it. I favoritize the European model just a little more, so definitely something to keep a close eye on. We're going to take one more look at, or we're going to take a look at a non-model real quick. Just snow totals. We're not going to look at timing on this, so we're going to look at the snow depth on this one. Give me just a quick second to get that loaded. As we take a look at that, now the NOM is saying about that 13.9 for the Sioux Falls area, which is an agreement with the European model. So when those two models start to come together, things are going to really start to utilize when the two models agree. It's coming more in agreements of that's what we're looking at for snow totals. As we take a quick look at your 7-day outlook, we did put a 20% chance of some snow showers pushing through the area. And here is why we put that 20%. As we look at our radar here, we do have some mixed precipitation moving through. We do have some, you can see some of that mixed precipitation moving through right through here. And then we do have some snow bands pushing through. And then we also do have some mixed precipitation there pushing through. I don't think any of this that is around the Sioux Falls area is reaching the ground. Radar's just hitting it because of the beams are so high right now. So definitely we are seeing some of that moisture starting to form in the area. So that is why I put that 20% chance there for Sunday. Overnight lows, we are looking at 18 degrees for our overnight lows. As we go into Monday there, I did increase that to 80% because we're just a minute. We're gonna get hit with it. As we go into Tuesday there, we're gonna leave that at 70% because of that is sticking around there as well. Good news is though, for the rest of the week, we did take out that snow for the rest of the week. Saturday, I'm not 100% confident to leave that out, but I did put it as a partly sunny for the day. Definitely going to see a warm-up for the rest of that week. As we take a look at our advisories across the area, there is an ice storm warning. Only county in South Dakota right now that is being affected by this is going to be Union County. This is in effect until 6 o'clock, I believe, tomorrow. Give me just one brief second here. And as I'm waiting on something to load here, the reason we use Zulu is because that's how all of our models are put in. That's why I mentioned Zulu, and then I break it down into actual time frame for those of you that don't know what Zulu is. I try to break it down as close as possible between 5 to 6 hour difference is what it is. So each slide that I look at that is a model run, that is a different that is a different time. Each model is different Zulus. There is a the European model is 6 hour increments. The GFS is 3 hours. There is one that is a 12-hour increment. So I to be able to create a timetable and everything like that, it's not really a mathematical procedure. It's just easier for me in my head to say, okay, guys, it's 00 Zulu, and then 00 Zulu is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So it's easier for me to break that down and really do it that way versus doing looking at it and saying, oh, yeah, that's 6 o'clock p.m. So that's why I do it the way that I do it, and I certainly do apologize. But it is actually a form of time. But I do definitely want to bring you guys the latest information and so that's how I have to do it. Again, this ice storm warning goes in effect from noon Monday to 6 p.m. Tuesday is what we are looking at seeing on that. As we go into the winter storm warning, the winter storm warning is in effect from noon Monday to 6 p.m. Tuesday for much of that area, and purple is what we are seeing with that. As we do look at the winter weather advisory, that is in effect as well. The winter weather advisory is in effect until noon Central Standard Time on Tuesday. So we are definitely seeing some heavier snow that will be pushing through. Here is the latest HRRR model run. This is for the next 48 hours. And this is kind of coming in agreement with the NAM in the European model. So as we do look at that as a factor too, we are seeing that that's starting to come in agreement. And that's where if those start to come in agreement, unfortunately, folks, that's the snow totals that we're going to start seeing the probability with it. As we take a look at the national map here of seeing this, we can start really seeing things form out west. We do see south of Rapid City there. Some moisture is really starting to fill in. It's coming over the Colorado Rockies is where this main system is starting to come over. As that comes across the area, that's where we're going to see things really start to ramp up. System is still down in that Colorado area, so this is just not the main system. This is not the main push of it. We do expect things to really start ramping up tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning. As we want to take let me shut this off here. We're going to take a quick look at our detailed hour-by-hour forecast here for the next 48 hours. So give me just a second to get that loaded. That does take just a brief second here to get that loaded. Let me see if I can do something. As we look at temps across the area, let's look at those real quick. We are looking at temps that are going to be fairly above normal for this time of year. We are looking at wind chill values right now. Good news is to get in below zero wind chill values, we have to go further north, almost to the North Dakota-South Dakota border there. Single digits up by the North Dakota-South Dakota border. Otherwise, we're sitting pretty nice here. That's the other factor, too, that we are watching fairly close is these temps. As those temps really start to come into play tomorrow is going to determine how much of the system is going to be rain and how much of the system is going to be snow, and then how much of the system is actually going to be iced. If we can keep the temps warm and lose some more of the snow that is out there, then we're going to see this more of a rain system. So that is about what we are looking with that. Now, I do have this load, so let me get... All right, so we are watching the system that is out west here. And as we start to put this into play here by about that 11 o'clock time frame, we do start to see things really start to push upwards. There by about 3:15 in the morning is what we are seeing. Now, this is Central Standard Time. 3:15 in the morning there along the South Dakota-Nebraska border, we finally start to see things ramp up there. As we start to come in about that 5 o'clock hour, we can start to see some rain showers getting ready to push through the area there about that 5-6 o'clock time frame. As we continue to put the map into motion there, we do unfortunately start to see some mixed precipitation start to form there right around, you can see that Freeman, Parkston, Wagner, Scotland area. We start to see some of that mixed precipitation start to form right about your commute time to start heading to work. There is what we start to really see that ramp up. That's also going to play a factor as far as seeing that as well. Are we going to see it only if the temps allow to support it. There about 10:30, we start to really see things ramp up in the Sioux Falls area. Now this sticks over the Sioux Falls area. Actually, let me zoom in here, and I'll show you here the last couple hours. So this is at 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. As we put the map into motion there, you can see it just sitting over the top of us for the first couple hours there. That's going to bring us a little bit of a heavier snow pack on top. Again, one thing we're going to have to watch fairly close is those temps. If the temps are going to stay above freezing, that's going to support it as a rain. If it's going to drop it below freezing, that's going to be a snow and an ice mix system. If it does become that type, we're going to see a greater amount of snow totals. Now, as we come into about 3:15 is when we really start to expect things to ramp up. We really start to see things ramp up there about that 3:15 time frame, and then that will continue to sit over the top of us and reproduce for a while. We do get a little bit of a break here come about that 8-9 o'clock time frame. Then as we go into about that 10 o'clock time frame, we start to see some snow really start to increase for the area. We do see those heavier bands. The darker blues is going to be heavier bands come into the overnight hour. So, and stick around through the overnight hour. So, one thing to do is to plan on Tuesday morning to get up early, to have to shovel yourself out, to give yourself some extra time for a commute. That's going to sit over the top of us here, come into through the day on Tuesday morning. Finally start to light up after lunch there, bringing us lighter snow totals where we're going to see probably the half inch per hour versus these darker colors here where we could see upwards to 1 to 2 inches per hour as that pushes through. That'll finally start to move out of the area by your commute home on Tuesday, according to the HRR model run. So that being said, we are looking at the heavier system to really impact us through the overnight hours, Monday into Tuesday. So when you get up in the morning, we are expecting that Tuesday time frame morning commute to be a messy commute. We do expect actually a lot of call-offs. I would not be surprised if schools were closed. I would not be surprised if they actually don't have school on Tuesday. I'm not saying that. I can't say that. That's not my official call to make. I believe it or not, I've gotten messages saying, hey, call off school, dude. Like, I don't want to go to school tomorrow. It's too dangerous out there. I can't make that call. I can only forecast the weather and only tell you guys what we're seeing on radar and what's going on out in the communities. So that being said, again, give yourself some extra time on Tuesday. Plan ahead Monday night as you go to bed to wake up to a messy Tuesday morning. That is where we're going to see our greatest time frame of seeing snowfall totals really increase, where we could see snowfall rates 2 to 3 inches per hour through the overnight hours. So the benefit of that is our accidents are going to be lower. But on the flip side to that, you're going to wake up to a messy commute. Flights, as far as cancellation on flights and stuff like that, it's really going to be hard to tell. Again, the good plus side of this system is it's really impacting us through the overnight hours. So it's not really going to impact a lot of things, but it will most likely give at least early starts. I do expect delays in flights at the very least. But again, this is really going to impact through the overnight hours is when we're going to see the grunt of this system push through. So that I cannot stress enough is have a plan and ready for your Tuesday morning, because again, I foresee schools being canceled, work being canceled, and roads closed. because of Tuesday morning is going to be an extremely messy condition. As we take a look at, as we take a look at the National Weather Services there, they are saying that there is moderate impact for the Sioux Falls area. Actually, I do apologize. That's an older slide. Let me get that switched here real quick. All right, as we got that switched, there you go. I certainly do apologize. They are seeing the major impact just west of the Sioux Falls area. They're saying a moderate impact for the central portion or South Dakota, eastern portions of South Dakota there in that orange. And that's one thing that we're watching fairly close, is because if you look at where they're saying is that major impact, that is just miles. Miles is all the difference is on that one. As we come into the other factor too that they are looking at as well, I also noticed that slide didn't update. Joys of doing live, but hey, I can fix that very, very quickly. All right, there we go. Now this is updated. So now the National Weather Service has actually pushed the ice accumulation further to the south, leaving us between that glaze to 1/10 of an inch of ice. Again, this is going to be one of those situations where it's going to depend on these temps. These temps are really going to play a huge factor. You can see down by the Beersford, Vermilion area, southwestward is going to see a greater ice accumulation. Storm Lake, Iowa is even going to see the greatest ice accumulation pushing through. Now, this is the latest slide for the National Weather Service. They're calling for 6 to 11 inches for the Sioux Falls area. You can see this black dotted area there. Again, they're in agreement with this as well, that it's just going to take a small shift. It's just going to take a very small shift southward for snow totals to mean different. They are saying the highest probability of seeing this is going to be right around your commute home on Monday, and then your commute home on Tuesday. I actually think our greatest concern is going to be the overnight hours, is what I will be watching fairly closely. There's going to be those overnight hours. So one feature that we did add to our stream, those of you that watch this later, is the date and time, so then you guys can kind of know that as well. So then you know what we are looking at as far as that is concerned. As we look at your precipitation outlook for issued as of yesterday, you can see that we are sitting at normal for this time of year coming into the middle of January. As we take a look at your temperature outlook, we are going to be above normal for this time of year. So definitely going to be seeing some warmer temps push through the area as well. So again, as we look at your 7-day forecast, we just got to get through this snowstorm Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sunday, again, that 20% chance is because of that isolated stuff that we're currently seeing now. Monday, Tuesday is because that's when we're going to see the grunt of that system. The rest of the week into Saturday, it looks gorgeous. Get out, enjoy it afterwards, have some fun digging out. I know I'm going to. Again, as we look at the latest HRRR model run, put Sioux Falls a little higher than what the National Weather Service did. As we look at the GFS there, the GFS does put us a little bit lower than what the HRR does. Unfortunately, folks, we're not going to know snow totals exactly until we get into this snowstorm. We do know that the grunt of it is going to be through the overnight hours, is what we're going to really expect to see things through. Again, I want to touch on the ice storm warning that is in effect Monday into Tuesday. The winter storm warning that is also in effect Monday into Tuesday. and then the winter weather advisory that's also in effect Monday into Tuesday as well. So, again, we'll continue to monitor this snowstorm system. We'll bring another update tomorrow morning as models start to really come in agreement. National Weather Service will start putting out their information too that we utilize to put our little show together. So we'll definitely look at that. The advisories, weather warnings, and everything are always issued by the National Weather Service. They are not issued by us. We don't have that authority to issue any watches, warnings, or advisories across the state or anywhere in the nation for that factor. So this has been AJ Town live with the T-Storm Chasers, bringing you the latest update. We'll have another update tomorrow morning as we start to get things rolling here, and we'll try to do another update tomorrow afternoon as well, as the system really starts to get ramped up. So, again, this has been AJ Town live with the T-Storm Chasers. We'll continue to monitor and keep a close eye on everything. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a fantastic night, and be prepared and get ready.